Thank you. Oh, okay. When the previous three presenter was presenting, I was wondering why I'm here, because it's all the science and techie stuff. But I realized that architecture and engineering is pretty much connected in every way. I believe in even computer chips, there are architecture behind it. So what I'm going to share with you guys about today is a lot to do with about not just the technical aspect, but all pedagogical, but more of a process and a dream that I want to help kids to learn a bit more about design and architecture. Okay, so before I start, I just want to show you guys a video about what we're doing, so that at least you guys can get a better picture. Okay? Alongside with ArKIDecture through this CSR initiative. And just nice today as we are doing this work, we can see how children, parents, architects work hand in hand together in a completely new way. They actually learn about history, learn about how library and urban environment mix together, and why things are the way they are, and even get a chance to tour around the library space.
Today they learn about the finishes and the materials, why we need carpet not to make noise in the library, or why we have acoustic ceilings. At the beginning they were a little bit scared because they found it very difficult, but just by making them like to see it in an easy way and to not to stress and to take it easy, then they started enjoying it, and in fact I think they enjoy it a lot, they like it, yeah.
We introduced them the kind of the basics, what kind of floor, different kind of function, different kind of material, especially the floor tiles. They realized. That's why they didn't notice about that. It's a good thing you're introducing architecture to kids.
I've always tried to explain things to my son to give him an appreciation of what different art forms are. And I think today, right, by doing this modeling, I think we've gotten a very good idea. And I think especially for him as well.
Meeting different kids, working with each other as a team to go through the library to accomplish the different tasks, and also making the models as well. Even for some of the facilitators from NAFA, I thought it was good for them to have the experience of sort of mentoring the children, having some leadership roles to work with the kids and guide them, as well as for us and ourselves to work with both the students from NAFA and the children and parents.
Alright, that's architecture. Yes, hope you guys enjoyed the video. And I realized that I had Irani, who actually run the project with me at National Library here today. So it's actually really great to actually share this process, because this journey is pretty large, because we're still trying to figure out how this whole context sits in children's learning. So when I started this process as an architect by training, and while I was still working as an architect, it was pretty hard, because I can't manage the time doing projects and also at the same time teaching. So something changed along the way that allows me to have more time. So later I'll get to why I can do this work and how this process brings teams and bring people together. And really, our hope is really just to want kids to connect themselves with learning and be curious about the environment around them, so that eventually they can be responsible users and designers. Whether they are makers or not, well, it's something they can take it on their own. And of course, in the process for us, we really hope that we can actually link kids and parents to work with architects and architecture students to learn more about design. through mentorship and design facilitation. So that's actually what we've been doing, bringing architects and students together to make this process of empowering children to dream and be creative. Well, after all, a maker is all about being able to make, because that's what we are as humans. Because making is part of who we are, and when we share and we learn, that's how we grow. But how and why do I pursue this journey? Well, I have to go back a little bit further than my architecture journey and also my career. Oh, it started off when I was questioning after my JC. So this K-12 from kindergarten to JC, you're wondering, okay, what do you want to be in the future? So I thought, okay, I like art, I like to draw, I like science, maybe I'll choose architecture. Okay, so I was very happy when I got into NUS architecture about 10 years ago. But shortly I got into the school, I realized this huge gap between where I was and where I was in the studio. There's a big mental gap, not just in the skills, but in the mental capacity of learning. I realized that I was not able to capture this multi-dimensional, interdisciplinary subject such as architecture. So many things was thrown to us, and suddenly, from the very linear mind that we've been trained to do exams, and we are forced to absorb philosophy, design, and architecture, I was like, wow, this is really difficult. And so I had this question in my mind. I say, okay, what if we can actually bring this process of teaching architecture and design to kids? So why not? Why don't they have to struggle only when they're in the tertiary education? So what if we bring this process and this gap, and as we introduce design thinking and experience learning when they're still kids, and hopefully we can reduce this gap between whatever they're learning in school from K to 12, and eventually when they move on to university, they can become engineers, designers, architects, but they have perspective of what they are going to learn and create. But however, for me, I wasn't so idealistic at the moment. I was still caught up with pursuing my degree at the same time. So I finished my thesis after 5 years, okay, I said, all right, like any other thesis student, I will probably join the industry. So for the next 3 years, I joined SA Architects to be an architect over a couple of public projects like Sengkang Primary School or Changi Terminal 4. So at that point of time, the question of how to teach kids just fade away. But I still think that it was a good learning experience. But however, something shifted in the mid of my career in the process. Guess what? Quite hard to guess. I think it's not definitely that kind of. Actually, national service. Because I'm from Taiwan. I came to Singapore when I was 20 years ago. So I had national service obligation. So when I was 28 years old, suddenly the constitutional letter came and says, sorry, you have to come back, you have to serve NS. I have to leave my work, I have to leave my community in Singapore, and even my fiancée, who's my wife right now. So it was really difficult because I have to say goodbye to everything that I knew, and that I know of in Singapore. So I go back to Taiwan, where my root is, and that's when it's kind of like a mid-term crisis. That I'm wondering what do I do forward, after serving the army. So at that point in time, I found a journal because I like to keep journals. And I found a journal a few years back. I actually wrote something about architecture and kids. I said, hey, remember in university days I used to think about design thinking and this for kids. Hey, this is the time. If I have any time in my life to do something for the kids, it's now. Why wait until I'm 50 years old to do something for the kids? So I decided to draft a journal of this into a poster. I said, okay, this will be my first pitching. My pitching is not going to be a deck of slides. My pitching is going to be just 2 sheets of paper. One about what I'm going to do, the other one about the curriculum I'm going to teach the kids. But who am I going to teach, right? Who am I kidding? Who knows about architecture and design? So I went to a after-school care just behind my house in Taipei. So I went in and told the principal I want to teach them architecture. So I thought she would think I'm crazy, but you know what? She was crazy enough to say yes, to allow me to work with the kids. So they gave me 5 days, 5 afternoons to work with the kids, and we had a great time. Just learning about scale, learning about geometry, learning about science and architecture, design. It was a really fun process. And even in my mom's clinic, I hold another workshop with kids, just with the community. So I thought, okay, look, since I'm back here for NS, I need to go to NS, right? It's not for more workshops. But at the point of time, I thought, okay, I have to shop this idea for a while. But something turned again. I had a lot of ups and downs. So this time, it's a good news. I got exempted. just about 100 days after I returning for national service, they told me, hey son, because of a sports injury, we're going to exempt you. I was like, what? Okay, for me, it's by the grace of God, really? Seriously. So freedom, I mean, you like freedom, right? Anyone don't like freedom? I mean, I love freedom, okay? But, I mean, freedom without direction is definitely more scary than we don't have freedom, okay? So I thought to myself, okay, now what? I mean, with the time I have, do I go back to Singapore to continue my project as a project architect? Or do I take this chance to do something with what I can do for the kids? Yeah, so I remember and I recall this spark and joy when I was doing that first workshop with the after-school camp. So I decided to say, okay, look, I'm gonna draw some inspiration from whatever that's happening here. This is not coincidence. And I believe that an architect can contribute to this society beyond just building buildings and physical structures. We can build kids' mind. We can inspire children to think about the built environment around them. So with that in mind, I say, okay, I really ask myself this question: how can I make use of the training I have in school as an architect to work with kids and value add to society? And it's really with that question, then the door can open. Because if not, I would be trapped by my own misconception and understanding. So I began my journey. So again, this journey was really I'm not just telling just good stories, but of course there are challenges as well. Of course, now with an idea, how to take this idea into reality? I mean, you need fundings, you need investors who believe in this idea, but such idea may seem lofty and may seem like, yeah, there's many alternatives. Why architecture? So complicated. So I thought about sustainability at a point of time because it has to be. If architecture were to make an impact in the long run, it has to make financial sustainability and also sustainability in business model. So from there on, I went to speak to my ex-boss in SA Architect, he's an MD. So he asked me, so do you want to come back? I said, no. I said, I have a dream. And I want to share with you today. My dream is to introduce architecture to kids when they're younger. So you know what? Since November 2015, about 20 months ago, we've been partnering with SA Architects, and we'll be using a platform known as Corporate Social Responsibility. We use it as a CSR to incubate this idea so that we can bring architecture to kids. Because we thought, how do we do that? And with that the support, I get to build a team and build with people that believes in this idea. So over the last 20 months, we work with almost about 15 over different organizations from private to public sectors, and even like just the National Library that you saw. And we will conduct over 120 different kind of workshops, small from playgroups all the way to public event. And we work with 900 over kids and youth. Of course, this is not possible just by myself. I actually had, I was very happy to have 70 over of these architects and architecture students from NUS, SUTD, NAFA, and of course SA Architects through their CSR. So it's really amazing to see how everything just coming together, not because of me, but because the community also believes that, yes, people need to know about architecture. We stay in the architecture spaces every day. How can we know so little about what we're used to? So therefore, with this belief, I asked myself this one question. And this is how we create a framework to work with kids. How do we make kids relate to architecture as it is, without being too technical and with all the technical jargon? So I'm going to show you a 1 minute video, and that will kind of sums up this framework. Okay? So just give me a second. Yes, that's right. So in order to help people, kids or parents who relate to this word architecture, this is a long word, not everyone can even pronounce. If you were to ask a 5-year-old kid, he doesn't know how to pronounce. So I said, okay, look, since this was so long, how about let me just take it apart, deconstruct it into something maybe more relatable to them. So we go at A, we say, look, definitely there's artistic element with the architecture. There's definitely creativity in how everything is put together. Definitely there's history. I mean, you look at historic buildings all around us, and technology, how things comes together, be it material or even idea. And finally, of course, nature. Because all architecture frameworks lies within this big natural environment. So with this framework, this is how we've been executing our programs to the different partners that we work with. Be it preschoolers or after school camps with BWOs. And we always want us to be creative in a way we want kids to learn about design, not just in the technical way of architecture. We're not asking them to draw technical drawings of design, but introduce things like sections by getting them to cut oranges themselves and draw things and imagine. Or even introduce things like how do you draw orthographics, elevations and sections and plans. And we even had a series on how do you draw the processes. So we film how balloons or springs move in slow speed camera and then see how things move. And eventually they have to concise them in simple tree drawings to demonstrate how the balloons move. So how kids should actually draw, like how the balloons move and eventually to the end. Yeah, so I mean, we even have creative workshops that work with primary schools and to then look at urban plans. Like this is a typical site models that an architecture student would do. But this time around, we want to introduce this creative lens for them to imagine how it could be. So they actually reimagine how these houses can be eventually become candies and sweets. Yeah, so it's really funny and interesting. And also through history, we also bring them to visit buildings around their schools, and so that they can actually interact with the buildings themselves. And recently, we actually worked with URA to introduce architecture and steel houses concept to kids and families. And we also even bring some of the parents to Pulau Ubin to actually see these houses themselves. Because, I mean, you can teach it in the classroom, but it's best actually teaching on site. And for the technology component, we also even introduce like laser cutting and fabrication process to some of the older kids. We even fabricate this theme called the Blueprints of Star Wars for kids to make spaceships and designs that are fabricated by laser machines. And eventually they together with their dads, these dads are all Star Wars fans, so they're actually even more excited than the kids themselves. Yeah. So it was a really fun process. I mean, we even had one workshop building buildings. After that, they thought that's it. But this building actually glows and light up with the LEDs they install in the buildings. And we even test structure integrity, not by earthquake, but we use a drone to actually tear down a building. Let's just see how this drone tears down this building in the next 10 seconds. And all the kids are looking at the model. Man, my model, no, not my model. But as the hovercraft goes over the building, so that building failed. Yeah. So, I mean, we also try different ways to work with high school kids to introduce science and technology within STEM. So we call it STEAM Camp. So we introduce things like hydraulic systems, to let them try to make things hands-on. And so they use very, very rudimentary materials and even made into the robotic arms just by using string and pipes. So actually this Saturday Spaghetti Fair will show an improvised version of how that came about to this much better prototype that our NUS students has made. Yeah, and of course lastly, natural projects that we use natural materials to bring kids outdoor and to collect materials. Eventually they get to build buildings that is inspired by animals. So how cool is that? And of course this process of trying to figure out these 5 different frameworks of architecture, and consolidate into something that people can understand is not easy. And we're still in the process of figuring out. And this journey doesn't stop here, it's continuous. But I'm just thrilled to be doing what I'm doing and having a great team supporting this journey. Because we believe when we start doing work like this, you really have to start with our mind, to dream big, to start small and go deep. So that's ArKIDecture for you. And I just want to leave one last statement that's to show all of you what ArKIDecture embraces and what we're about, which is to guide kids to building dreams and sparking creativity.